What's going on, fags? It's Yowie Watch, and I am going to get right into this quick review slash overview of Junjo Romantica Season 1 before I fuck it up because I've already tried to do this about 20 times, and shit. I mean, it's getting a little bit ludicrous. Anyways, just two things real quick. One, you don't have to worry about spoilers. I'm very vaguely just gonna go over the plot, very, very, very vaguely. I'm gonna talk more about the animation and the comedy and kind of just the voice acting more than anything. And just kind of the overarching plot. I'm not going to get super into detail, so you don't have to worry about spoilers. And two, this is being seen from the eyes of a yaoi fanboy. I'm not female, I'm a straight male, actually. I guess I can't be completely straight because I love some sex scenes, and there's at least like one in every episode. It felt like there's 12 episodes in this first season, and it was pretty spicy. The sex scenes are very spicy. But yeah, I am a straight male IRL. I haven't taken a pounding or given a pounding to another man. Um, so yeah, just keep that in mind, that this is coming from that kind of perspective. So Junjo Romantica, it has it's sorry. The premise of this, or the hook of this, is that it follows three different couples. Except not really. It's more like it follows one couple mainly, and then one other couple, a fair amount, a very fair amount, and then the third couple, which probably would have had the most interesting arc. Who knows? Maybe in season two they'll develop it more. But the third couple is just kind of like gets 2 episodes of development, and that's it in this first season. So if I had to say anything bad about this first season of Junjo Romantica, I would say that the third couple is very, very weak that we're introduced to, at least in terms of character, the development of the relationship, and the fact that it started out very promising. It seemed like it was going to kind of flip things on its head. It was going to flip the typical UK seme kind of image, and stereotype on its head of the semes, the older, tall guy, and the UK's the little teary-eyed boy. It seemed like it was gonna flip that shit on its head for a while, but it did not. Who knows? Maybe in season two it will. I don't know. So, but yeah, no. So it follows these three stories. Uh, for the most part, yes, you do have your main couple, and then these two side couples. The characters don't. These stories don't necessarily intertwine too much. They do, to a certain degree. Some of the characters do have a little bit of history with each other, but they don't intertwine too much. They're all kind of their own separate little stories, once they get into it. And I mean, that's kind of good, because I mean, that's what kind of made this anime so digestible, and good for me, was the fact that it didn't just follow one couple. I mean, something like Love Stage that followed one couple, it had to, it had a lot of comedy, and had a lot of crazy character development, for that couple. I really love Love Stage, by the way, if you didn't know. This, only has 12 episodes and it's got three couples. But it does a really good job of compressing the character development and the comedy and the sex and the fan service and the love, the boys love. It does a really good job of compressing it. Um, at least in the first two arcs. I call them arcs. For the first two couples we see. For the third one, again, I feel kind of unsatisfied with that, but it in season two, hopefully that'll change. But overall, as an anime, as a boys love anime, does it reinvent the wheel? No, but it is very, very interesting to see these three couples, and their stories, kind of how they just intertwine just enough, and how we see, one couple during another couple's story, or one character from a different couple during another couple's story. So, I mean, there is just enough to connect the different couples together. And it is very, very. Let me just get to the sex, man, because I mean, from a, I, come on, man, we know what we're really looking for when we get this shit. We want that cute UK with the teary eyes, the seme doing the stereotypical pounding his hand against the wall that the UK is leaning on, or uh, grabbing the UK's hands with one hand, as is pictured on the top right of the picture here. And let me tell you, the show does deliver on the fan service very well. It's not super graphic. Excuse me. It's not super graphic. It does imply um, that orgasms have happened, that, a character came. And in fact, it happens in the first episode. Um, the characters definitely make facial expressions and noises and just kind of body motions and in general just kind of say shit that it implies that they came, and there is skin shown and all that. If you've ever watched Boys Love before, these scenes are gonna be, they should be, pretty sorry about that. Pretty typical for you. They're pretty damn spicy. Um, Both because, I mean, these are very pretty boys, and because I actually cared about these characters, and I think this show did a really good job of making me care about these characters. And a big part of that was the comedy. And shit, I mean, the comedy, man, the comedy is fantastic. But yeah, no, I did actually care about the characters, and that made the sex scenes all that much more intimate. Uh, so just in terms of story and all that, this is great. If you like yaoi, boys love, whatever, you're gonna love this. Check it out. Definitely buy it. Support the release. It's on Right Stuff. It's on Amazon. Now let me just talk about the voice acting and the animation real quick. The voice acting is, again, very, very, very typical of the genre. Uh, I mean, there's not much else to say. The voice actors in this, though, I mean, have been in some very, very surprising other roles, stuff like Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc V, Pokemon, Seraph of the End, other shit. So they do have good dynamic range, and they do a good job of transitioning from, screaming around, doing bombastic, crazy comedy, to doing tender moments, to, subtle cries and moans. I have no complaints in terms of the voice acting at all. I mean, then again, I'm no expert in the field of voice acting. I don't know. It's just, it's very, very typical of boys love anime. The voice acting is good though. I mean, it made me, I cared about the characters, and obviously I had to care about what they had to say, and I did. And so, yeah, there you go. The voice acting's good, at least on my end. The animation the animation was good, was, again, very typical of a yaoi or boys love or whatever you want to call it. All the guys have these long hair with these fucking fresh ass sweeping bangs, with big eyes. The one thing that was a little jarring for me are sometimes the way that the chins came off, or how the chins looked, particularly on the semis. It just kind of looked like a literal potato chip chin. That was a little awkward looking, but other than that, it's your standard kind of fare when it comes to boys love stuff. And the animation of the sex scenes and stuff like that is actually on point. If I had to say anything, that's where the animation's probably the best, is the sex scenes. There's also definitely, moments of animation that you see on the bottom right hand there. where there's kind of chibi types of animation and stuff like that, and that's really fun to watch. So there's a good variety of animation. The animation for the most part is very consistent in terms of the characters and in terms of the environment, definitely, and in terms of the sex scenes, the choreography, along with the voice acting, make them really great, and they're just really well drawn. And that's where they seem to have put most of their A team on the sex scenes, no doubt. But by no means is this a bad looking anime. Boys love, or just in general anime. So, in conclusion, if you were thinking about buying this, you should buy it. And I mean, I loved the first episode of this. This passed the YouTuber Digibros one episode kind of test thing. I loved the first episode. I loved the entire show, or at least the entire first season. And I mean, if you like yaoi, you're gonna love this. If you have never watched yaoi before, this is this is pretty spicy. I mean, this is a little spicy. It might be, it depends on your tastes. It might be a little too heavy for you. It might not be heavy enough for you in terms of the actual sex and fan service. But definitely, if you're a yaoi fan and you haven't watched this, definitely you got to check this out. I really, really loved it. And if you are new to the genre and you're thinking about it, and is this a good one to start with? I think so. Because even if the sex scenes are a little too spicy for your liking, which, I mean, it's not gratuitous sex for the sake of gratuitous sex. It's actually very emotional for the most part. There's just one scene where it's just supposedly supposed to be sex for the sake of sex, but even that has context behind it that has very deep meaning and actually made me feel. There are some feels in this too. So, you know what? I'm going to go out on a limb and say, even if you're new to the genre, if you have an interest in checking it out, check out Junjo Romantica on Amazon or WriteStuff.com. And before I fuck this up, I want to thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe, and all that stuff, or dislike if you disliked this and tell me I suck. And yeah, I'll catch you fags later. I'm gonna watch season 2 soon. Yeah.